Hi everybody, welcome to session 1 of Soul Shift for July. Can you believe we are here? Welcome in, I'm so happy to see you guys. Yay! We had a camera situation. My beloved Nick was able to fix it for us. So we are here. The camera was turning on and shutting off. And turning on and shutting off, and it's not even Mercury retrograde. So here we are. And so we have kind of a little bit of a different schedule this month, you guys, because so we have session 2 tomorrow. We have Crystal Masters tomorrow because I am going to be traveling. Finally, this is the first time my family and I have taken a vacation in 2 years and 2 months. So it's been kind of a long time. So we will not be here next week or the week after. We'll be back on the full moon, which I believe is the 24th, 23rd. I know. Your mom's birthday is tomorrow. Well, Janisa, I am just going to wish her a happy birthday right now. And you know what I want to tell her, Janisa? I'm thankful that she brought you to this planet because you're a big blessing in my life. I know, I have been waiting to travel. I am so excited and not very prepared. And do you want to hear something really awesome? Do you know that Alexis is going to be doing my live videos while I'm gone? And I do want to ask you a favor, if you could please support her. I think that would be really cool. She's going to have my daily tray. I mean, who's more qualified than Alexis to take my place for about 12 or 13 days? Yeah. So I'm so thrilled and I'm excited to be going away. I probably will go live a couple of times while I'm away. And I'm recording some kind of fun things for you to work on while I'm gone. And then session 3 and 4 will be when I get back. And full moon will be the day I get back. Yeah, so Alexis is going to be live each day. And because I didn't want to discontinue that. A lot of people really enjoy the lives. I enjoy it too. I'm gonna try and come and visit you guys while she's live. I know. So she's going to do great. She says she's nervous. She's not. She's a pro. There's nobody more qualified than you, darling, to do it. So anyway, thank you for your good wishes. I really appreciate it. We need a break so bad. And I think Dave needs it more than I do. And the kids are so excited just to be able to stretch their legs and have some fun and not have me working all the time, which is different. I work a lot, so it'll be nice to unplug. All right, you guys. No, Casey's like, have I missed class material yet? No, darling, we just started and we're chit-chatting. What I was explaining to everybody is the schedule. So we have Soul Shift today and readings tonight. So, I'm staying an hour after tonight. Instead of doing readings from 2 to 3 today, because you're getting your 2 hours of readings this week, because class is back-to-back because I'm traveling. So we're going to do readings tonight from 6 to 7 at the end of class, which I'm really excited about because quite a few of you have told me that you can't make it to the 2 to 3 p.m. readings. You know what I mean? The early readings. And a lot of you have asked me, can you ever just do it later? So since we're doing 2 hours of readings this week, I'm going to do the regular time tomorrow, 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific time. But tonight I'm going to do readings from 6 to 7. And I think there will be a group of people who will be able to come and enjoy readings that aren't normally able to make it because the timing doesn't line up. And so I'm hoping that you guys who normally can't make it to readings, I'm hoping that you will enjoy having your readings in the evening today. And then tomorrow it'll be 2 to 3 p.m. readings and then 4 to 6 p.m. Crystal Masters. And I finished your June coaching, so that audio will be coming to you as well. I know a lot of you really enjoy that. And I have to tell you, I love recording the coaching for you. I love it. You're always welcome to submit a question. You can submit a question every month. Some of you do. Some of you are really good about submitting questions every month. If you're new, is there anybody new, by the way? If you're new, this is something that I do each month. It's a coaching opportunity. So you get to submit a question, and Alexis puts a post in our Facebook group. And then I respond to every question that I get in an audio. And I can't tell you how many of you, and I really appreciate the feedback because if you didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? But a lot of you have told me it's actually one of your favorite parts of Soul Shift, because you can listen to it on your way to work or on your way home from work. A lot of you have commutes, or you're on the train or whatever it is, and you've got your headphones in and you can just listen. Some of you listen while you're working out in the morning. I just think it's really cool. Jacqueline Para is new. Welcome. So yeah, if you're new, every month you can submit a question about what we're learning, and I will respond to you in this oral coaching thing that I do. And so there's never, obviously you can always ask questions in our Facebook group, and I will always respond to you there as well. So this is just one more way. One of the reasons I do this is, and we pin it, by the way, Mackenzie, so it's one of the announcements in your Facebook group, because she says, I never know about it. If you go to the Facebook group, I don't know if you're in the Facebook group or not, and we have a few members who are not in the Facebook group. So in that case, what you can do is submit your question to support.sagegoddess.com, and they will route it to Alexis if you're not in the Facebook group. But if you're in the Facebook group, there's announcements. So pinned to the top, we usually have about a dozen announcements. And so if you scroll through there, that's where Alexis and I post the things that are important from our perspective for you to know. And then that's where we post like, hey, ask your questions. So that's where you should go. And again, if you don't have Facebook, not a worry. There are quite a few people in Soul Shift who are not on Facebook, and I totally get it. Facebook can be a real drain. So you can always send your question to support.sagegoddess.com too, and I will add it, Alexis will add it to the list for me. Isn't that fun? I love it. So let me show you what's going on today with class. I think you're going to really like class tonight. Yeah, and you can go back and listen. So, some of the, this is what's funny. Some of the people who love it the most don't ask questions. That's the interesting part. They tell me they like it because they like to hear me respond to other people's questions, because it makes them think. So even if you don't ask a question, there's a lot of you who listen to it who don't ask questions, and I think that's kind of cool, because you're interested in what other people are asking, and you're interested in how I'm responding to those other people. Does that make sense? So anyway, you're always welcome to do that, hands down. You know what I mean? However you get the question to me, I think it's great. Yeah, and welcome to all the new people. That's very exciting. Okay, these are your worksheets, darlings. Now, if you're new, I give you worksheets because I was a professor forever. And I always feel like you're not getting your money's worth if I don't give you paper. I really do. I'm a worksheet person. I like paper, I like writing, I'm very old school. And so you don't have to look at these, you don't have to print them out, you don't have to fill them out if you don't want to. But for session 1 each month in Soul Shift, I focus on the worksheets for the month, because that's really what leads us through the teaching for the month, right? So I'm going to be going through these tonight. If you haven't had a chance to print them, if you haven't had a chance to fill them out, please don't worry about that. Just enjoy the class. You can go back and look at them later. You can go back and respond to them later. You know what I mean? This class is never meant to be stress for you. This class is meant to be something you look forward to. So I never want you to feel like, oh, I didn't do the worksheets, I probably shouldn't go to class or anything like that. You do you on your time. This is adult learning. I'm at your service, right? You never need to feel pressured. But the homework kind of keeps us on track, you know what I mean? It gives us kind of a guiding post. And last month, if you remember, and when you listen to the June coaching, it'll remind you, last month's teaching was really about fear. Because as I told you, now that we're moving into conjunction in alchemy, the shadow work portion of our work together this year is complete. The official formal shadow work is complete. We've already done what I call the makayak, the roto-rooting of your spiritual pipes that we're going to do for this year. Now, that doesn't mean we're done forever, it's over, right? You might always at some point go back to calcination because you feel like you got something else happen to you, right? And you want to go in and clean it up and clear it out. So it's not a linear process, it's cyclical. At some point when something happens, we have to go back and run it through the process again. But where we're moving in general is into a phase called conjunction. And conjunction, what's your function? I I really became a grammar teacher because of Schoolhouse Rock, and I still played conjunction junction for my college students for years, you know, especially when they were like, what's conjunction junction? And I'm teaching, you know, fanboys, right? For and or but or yet so. And I'm like, you don't know what conjunction junction is? Anyway, this is our version of conjunction junction. And its function is to take the stuff, and really hear me on this. This is where we're moving this month, okay? The phase of alchemy that we're in now. I even love how the music is changing to reflect it. You know what I mean? This Epidemic Sound app that I use, the station that I play is called Trendy Wellness, I think. It's like it's a 24-hour loop, and they don't repeat the music. I'm not promoting the channel at all. I don't do paid promotions, but I don't like that stuff. But I'm mentioning it to you because the music changes when I teach. And it's almost like when I get to a point where I'm about to say something to you and the energy is about to shift, the music changes. And I don't know how. It's very interesting. And I leave it on 24 hours a day in my house on Sonos. So this plays in my backyard, this plays in my living room. And even during our dinner conversations, will kind of change gears, and all of a sudden the music is changing too. It's both really interesting and creepy at the same time. Anyway, this phase, the reason I wanted to pause you, this phase is about taking what you thought you wanted to reject, what you thought you didn't want to take forward with you, what you thought didn't fit, right? And find a new home for it. Find a new home. And I don't know if you read this part in the worksheets. I like what we put together for you because it's poignant writing. But on the first page, page 1, it says, imagine telling your child that you can't welcome it or love it because it's not perfect, because it doesn't fit. Imagine that, right? Oh, thank you, Casey. That's very sweet. I washed my hair. Every time I wash my hair, you guys really compliment me, and I think it's because I don't wash it very much, which is awesome. I'm such a hippie. So, but everybody goes, oh, you look so great. I'm always like, I washed my hair yesterday, last night. Anyway, I want you to feel that concept again. Would you? And some people do. I know people who have told their children they can't love them because of something they've done, or they can't love them because of something they've said. I know people like that. And those relationships are very complicated, and I make no assessment. But can you imagine telling a young child, a vulnerable child, I can't love you because, right? And yet, and yet at the same time, you and I do that to ourselves all the time. We tell ourselves, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not competent enough, you're not strong enough. We do it to ourselves all the time. We consciously and almost constantly, many of us, look at ourselves in the mirror and go, nope, not good enough. And there's a little part of us inside, just like a small child would, that says, that cringes, like, really? I'm not, it's that kind of energy, right? So that's what I want you to think about tonight is in the last 6 months, right, from January to June, and I go through this process right alongside you. There have been a lot of things that I've looked at and said, as we've gone through this kind of washing and cleansing and filtering process that is alchemy, right? It's like going in and taking everything out from the inside of you and washing it off and looking at it and saying, what do I want to do with this now? And there have been a lot of things for me, and I'm sure there are for you, where you're looking at it and you're going, I don't know. This part of me, I don't know. I don't know if I want to make a space for her. I don't know if I want to make a space for that. But what I want to suggest to you is, in alchemy, very little is wasted or rejected. Because what the alchemists believe is it's all part of the process. Very little is actually discarded in the alchemical process, right? So I want you to think, as I'm talking to you now, about the last 6 months and what you've unearthed. And if you haven't been in the program that long, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you why. This may sound crazy to you, by the way. Maybe it won't. I think even if you weren't in this program, you were on some level. Very rarely does it happen that somebody comes into one of my programs, very rarely, and they come in and they go, I have no idea what's going on. I can't keep up. This doesn't make any sense to me. Very rarely does that happen. And I have a theory, because I think that even if you weren't here, something in what we're doing drew you in. And if you're coming in new at this point, you probably have been doing some of your own cleansing, cleaning, and filtering of the energies in your field before you got here. And so then you get here and you find out, oh, now you're in the process of putting the pieces back together. I was already doing some of that work. I've often had that experience with people when they're new, you know what I mean? So anyway, we are putting pieces back together, but I will tell you that this process is going to happen for you again and again and again. Every time you go through a challenge, every time you struggle, every time someone mistreats you, right? Every time you go through some kind of transformation or change, there are going to be parts of that process that you're going to want to alchemize. And so what I hope I offer you is, not just for now, not just for this year, but I hoped after you leave this class this year, that you feel like you have a process now, so that when something happens, instead of repressing it, pushing it down, ignoring it, running away from it, smoking it down, shopping it down, drinking it down, sleeping it out, I hope instead of that you now have a process to say, okay, I know what I need to do. The first thing I need to do is take this down to the studs. I need to really understand what this issue or situation or this challenge is about. And then I've got to rinse this out. I've got to take those ashes and run my fingers through them and figure out what's left. And then I have to look at this through the lens of, does this just affect me, or is this actually not my work? Is this more about the collective, and what's me and what's not me, right? So I hope after this year, because we're not going to do alchemy next year. I don't know what we're doing exactly yet, but it's not going to be alchemy. So I hope after this year, you feel like you have keys to a castle in a way, right? And so as we come back to this phase now, which is a little bit of the reward, right? Oh, isn't that cool, Jacqueline Para? I hope as we come to this phase now, where we start to say, in an honest way, what if? And you don't have to answer this immediately, but what if, right? What if every part of you was worth it? Every part. What if every part of you deserves to go the rest of the journey? What if there isn't anything about you that's unlovable, unworkable, unintegratable? What if everything, right, about who you are and where you've been and what you've done is perfect? It's just a question, right? What if? What if it's all been leading you here? What if it's all been creating this present moment? And so what if your task is to really bring it in now instead of pushing it down? If we could do this, you guys, and I'm going to put my hand up and say, this is really hard for me. It's real hard for me. If I could have done this 30 years ago, I didn't, okay? Sharon's asking a great question. She said, why do you assume we all don't love ourselves? I hope I'm not making that assumption. What I'm suggesting is that usually when we do shadow work, Sharon, and usually when we go through a process like this, we get to places where we say, this piece, everything else here I get, I want to integrate, I want to hold it, I want to love it, I want to appreciate it. This over here, I'm still struggling. And I just did our coaching session yesterday, and there was a lot of that. I'm stuck. I struggle here. I am holding on to this. I can't let go of this. So I certainly hope, I mean, I would love to think that most of you are in a place where there's literally nothing, right, about you that you haven't loved, held, integrated, made space for, made a home for, all of that. I would love that. And if a lot of you are there, I think it's really ideal. Where most people, right, where most people are, and again, I'm not going to make the assumption that you, Sharon, are here, but where most people are is there's a little something. I really do love myself, and I appreciate myself, and I'm so far from perfect, you know what I mean? I have so many flaws. I could make you an alphabetized list of them. I really could. But there's still little parts of me that I struggle with, and I keep wanting to change them. I keep resisting them. I keep telling myself to try this instead. Do you know what I mean? And that's me at like 90% maybe of the way to really fully. So yes, that is the goal. So the goal is what Sharon is suggesting, and maybe Sharon is there, where no, you're 100%, right? Everything about you is loved, held, appreciated. You've made a space for it. You've integrated it. The identities are aligned. Everything is there. Like, that is the goal. For a lot of us, there's some pocket. Now, for me, it's 5 to 10%. For some people, it's 20 to 30%. For some people, it's 0%, right? And then, as Carrie is suggesting too, right? There's a difference. There's a difference between knowing you're worthy and feeling worthy. There's a difference. So you can look at me and go, yes, I am worthy. Yes, 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 yes. And then, but is your body registering that? And one of the hallmarks, right, of this for me, as I've been studying, and casually, right? I mean, I'm not studying as a medical researcher. I'm studying as maybe kind of as a social scientist, you might say. Autoimmune disease. For me, the sharp rise in autoimmune disease, which almost doubles the rate of autoimmune disease every year in this country. For me, when I see those rates start to decrease, that will be a sign to me. Might be a weird sign for you, but it'll be a sign to me that we're doing something different, that we're starting to really love and appreciate and accept ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Because for me, what autoimmune disease is interpersonal, meaning you within yourself, rejection, right? And I find that, the rates are doubling for almost every autoimmune disease. It's insane. It's insane. A few years ago, it was more than doubling. And in certain populations, too, they're seeing a sharp rise in teenage populations and pediatric populations. What's that about, right? Now, I'm sure there's other factors. I'm sure it's the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, you know what I mean? I'm sure it's all of these things, too. But in addition to that, I think it's energetic. I think it's that we are not finding a way to really love, and I mean on almost a subconscious level, to really love and create the space for integration, right? I'm so glad to hear that. It's tough. So what are we going to do? And I think what we do is we make sure we've done the work. And so wherever you are on that spectrum, what we're talking about tonight with the retrograde phases of the planets, and I hope tonight's a really fun teaching for you, because I will tell you it has been a game changer for me. I don't look at retrogrades the way most people do. I look at retrogrades as gifts and tests. Gifts and tests. Retrogrades are opportunities. They are revisions, redesign. It is a chance to slow and check your progress. And what retrogrades do, and each planet in its retrograde phase gives you a different test. It's like a test of truth, or a test of strength, or a test of will, or a test of autonomy and integrity, right? So each planet, tests of communication. Each planet gives us a different opportunity for a test. And you'll know as you go through the retrogrades, especially as you start to look at them through this lens, a review, that's right. You'll start to be able to evaluate and assess your own progress. It's like, oh yeah, look at that. I didn't respond the way I always do, or I didn't get stuck in that same tape, or I didn't